First of all, our day's not over. We still got quite a few guys that are out there, so some guys I won't be able to speak on. But so far today has went very well. I think we've hit a lot of needs and what we want to do with a lot of great players that can really be difference makers at any level. Hit a lot of states, a lot of areas, and also did a great job in Texas. So I think, first of all, our coaches did assistant coaches did a tremendous job staying on top of this, and our recruiting staff, led by Marshall and the guys, have done an unbelievable job off the field of keeping the lines of communication open and recruiting. And like I say, it's not any one thing. It's everything. It's everybody encompassing. And every time they come here that they see what A&M can be, they feel the love of the people, how they're going to be treated, and what they can see in themselves as a future, not only as an athlete but as a student. Life after ball, using the Aggie Network and everything that goes about being at Texas A&M. It's got a tremendous place to sell. So saying all that, we've done a great job, in my opinion. Got most of the guys that we really want to need. Don't want to get everybody you ever want, but got quite a few guys left. Still got 5 or 6 guys left that we'll announce we can't talk about, but the class is coming together, hitting a lot of needs, a lot of areas, offense, defense, skill guys, big guys, everything across the board, and just very happy and pleased. And hopefully we'll develop these guys the right way that we can climb to the top of college football the way we want to get to. So very excited about this class, and like I say, be anxious for the next couple hours too. So questions?
Down front, Brent.
Seems like we say this a lot now, that's the way of the world. But how much has NIL and open transfers and things like that changed the recruiting process in the past year?
I told you, and I joke about this. NIL's been going on for a long time. They say it ain't been above board. So now it is. It does. I mean, I think it does affect things because the guys, the other people, they don't have the advantages they used to have. And how they did things and the way they did things. So I think that's a big part of it. But it's something you don't promise. You can't promise it. I don't think it's not a thing you guarantee. So that has nothing to do with the recruiting process. And that's all you can do is vouch off the players in the past and where you've had it, which has only been going on for 6 months, what they've received. So you can't say you're getting an NIL deal. That's totally illegal. You can't say I'm going to pay a player or how much money or $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever it is. That's illegal. So those things, however that goes about it. But transfer portal is a big part of it. I mean, guys leaving, coming, going, affect your roster in and out, and but it's here to stay. That's the new times. You either evolve and change with the times, or you get passed up. So it is what it is. Whether it's good, bad, indifferent, it's all part of the process now. So big part of it.
Down front, Travis.
Seem to just absolutely fill the cupboard with tight ends in this period. What can adding 3 more tight ends to that room
Well,
do
I
for
think
the
it does, and guys can make a difference. You create mismatches, guys, and tight ends now can split out and play like receivers. And those guys that can do that are very versatile and create mismatches across the board, and you get high-quality players, man. You can't pass them up, and you get the best players available in what we got. And I think we got a lot of diversity, a lot of physicality, a lot of athleticism, a lot of ball skills, and I think they're hard matchups.
And as we move on from here, would you look to add another quarterback via transfer portal?
I know you always got to look to add. I think you got to have 3. We have 2, so we'll look to the future where we're going to go with that and when that time comes. But I think it's something that's very important I think you eventually have to do because, as you see, really theoretically 2 of them should have been hurt this year, and that's a position that you just can't stick anybody in. So I think it'd be important to try to see if we can fulfill that need.
Down front, Cole.
Jimbo, one of the guys you went after really late in the process was Jake Johnson. For him and Brad's ties with Florida State and your ties with Florida State, was it just kind of a connection between you two from the get-go? Well,
I've known him since he was in the 8th grade. He used to be in my camp. I mean, I've known those guys for a long time and where he went. And Brad, I have tremendous respect. If you ever meet Brad, you'll know he's tremendous, not only a tremendous player and athlete, but a tremendous person, and very blessed to have his son for sure.
And then you also look at some of the names that you were able to add across the last couple of weeks and with the whole coaching carousel moving on and other coaches leaving programs. Do you think it kind of helped you that you solidified your status that you were going to be here for the long term?
Well, I think it did, and I think the rest of our staff did, and I think they did a great job even when Mike took a head job, which is inevitable, that our staff and we're able to keep. We didn't lose anybody from it. We were able to keep guys intact and where we went. So I think it's a strong tribute to where we're going, what we're doing, and how people see the future.
Jimbo, can you talk about the size in the trenches? You guys got some really big guys on the defensive line and also on the offensive line.
Got to play that way. Big guys. The little guys get hurt, man. You get knocked around. It's hard to play up there when you're like that. You can move and quick, but eventually that gets to you, and the wear and tear in this leg and the physicality of this leg, I think, is very important. But the thing we didn't give up with athleticism. There's still tremendous athletes that can run and play, and the key of the guys that put their hand in the dirt, the physicality of the game, you got to have those guys on both sides of the ball. And if you don't, it's a long Saturday, I promise you.
Now, you say you still have some work to do, but what does this class say about the continuous growth of this program and the direction you're going?
And I think the people see it. They see where we're going, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and we got to finish up and be able to finish some games and win on the road when we need to and do those kind of things. But I think you get guys that can make a difference and, hopefully make those other plays in which you need. But I think they see the vision which we have. They think they see the commitment which we have, and I think they see the staff that can get them there and the things that go on in the past recruiting classes. I think, they're like you say, you live in vision, you live in vision, you live in circumstance. And I think we're living in vision, and we see it, and I think it's right there. We just got to finish it.
Down front, Brent.
You had mentioned Mike Elko. Obviously, I'm sure you're happy for him.
Oh,
That-
extremely happy.
and-
That's
and
what
then-
you always want to be. I was in that position one day, at one time. That's what you strive for.
And then, do you have any kind of defensive coordinator updates on that?
No, I mean, we're really good. I think Santucci will, he'll call the bowl game and do that. I think he's an excellent guy, and I think his ability to be a coordinator, co-coordinator with us in the future, wherever we go with this thing, I think is very big. I think he's a heck of a young coach, and I think he's doing a great job, and our staff is doing a great job. Elijah's doing a great job. TJ's doing a great job. TP's doing a great job. So keep status quo, and they've practiced very well, and things have been going very well. So we'll make an additional hire here in the future.
We could stay to the left.
Howdy, Coach. How important is it to have one of your guys that you're signing to help you recruit other guys to come here as well?
I think two things. You have to have guys in your class that become, I say, bell cows. And Bobby Taylor was a huge part of our class, in my opinion. I mean, getting guys out, and then they all started, and they just all came together. And players, listen, guys understand you got to have a bunch of guys in football to go win. And they're all local. A lot of these local guys started that nucleus of guys, and they expanded out, going to get great players across this country. And I think that's what you got to do, and I think that's very important. But also your current players. I think your current players sell your program. You can recruit all you want, and those guys can do it. But when your current players believe in what you're saying, those guys get to campus and they get around them. They tell them in 2 seconds if it's true or not, or if it's a good place to be. And I think those guys, Bobby and those guys in that class did a great job, and I think our current players did a tremendous job along with our staff.
To the left, Cease, and then we'll go to the back.
So a follow-up on that, how did you keep all those defensive guys after losing Elko, who's been here 4 years recruiting all those guys? Because I figured people would use that against you.
The year I won the national championship in 2013, I lost 6 guys. Remind them of that. We lost 6 coaches in 2012, won the national championship in 2013. Because the system doesn't change. I'm still involved in defense. I'm still going to be involved in what we run on defense, how we run it, and the systems aren't changing. And as a head coach, I'm the offense and defense. And that's why defense coordinators don't bring in new schemes. You ain't changing everything. We're going to run what we run, how we run it, the way we run it, and we'll make additions and things from it. So they know the system's going to stay the same, and 4-year assistant coaches are staying the same. So they see everything in status quo just like they were recruited, so there's nothing to change.
Go back behind the lights, Mike.
Coach, you had your quarterback locked in this class for a while, and Wakeman, what makes him such a special, unique talent at that
Let me tell you something. I'm not even talking about his physical ability. Unbelievably intelligent, highly competitive, affects his teammates and raises the play of his teammates unbelievably as much as anybody. I've been around a long time. Has a chip on his shoulder to compete and play, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean can do anything, and I mean loves to play ball. He's a football junkie. And then you think he can run like heck. He's big. He's athletic. He can make every throw in the book. He throws every catchable ball. He can throw deep ball, short ball. He can throw RPOs. He can throw drop back. He can throw play action. And I've said from the very get-go, everybody bragging about it, that's my guy. Has been my guy. I loved him. I think he's the best guy out there, period.
And he plays baseball as well, Coach. A couple of the kids in
I-
his class play basketball too.
He's going to play baseball here.
Do you look at guys who play 2 sports as an advantage when you're recruiting them?
I love him. I think your overall athleticism. I think your development. I think your competitive development. And I think you learn to compete in different ways. Some games are transition like basketball. You sit and drill about a mistake. They done score 6 points. You're behind. Baseball's a game of failure. The guys that play baseball, they usually have. don't get frustrated as easy. So in football, you make a mistake. They can process it, move on, and do it. You learn to think and play in different ways. Track, you get one shot at it. I got one play to make a game. You got one race to win a race. It ain't you won one bad race, you're done. There's a lot of things you learn from other sports that you can, when you apply them all, and I think football encompasses all of them, I think it can be very beneficial.
Stay behind the lights, John Wilson.
Coach, looking at the list so far, just one running back in the class. What was it about Moss that jumped out?
Side speeds, athleticism, competitive, toughness, great hands, blocking, and a tough son of a gun. He's ran 400 meters before. He can fly. He's 200 pounds. He can catch the ball. He can make you miss. He can run over you. And, he's got a competitive edge to him. Now, he's a tough sucker. I love everything about him.
Go down front, Cole, and then Travis.
Jimbo, when you kind of look at how NIL is kind of changing the game, you're moving recruiting trails outside of just the state of Texas and the Southeast. You've got some guys from Washington and Arizona, but you also got a kid internationally. Does that kind of help that you're now recruiting outside of just the United States?
Well, I mean, we always did. I mean, we did it when I was at Florida State. One of the best guys I ever had was Bjorn Warner from Germany. Exchange student, was first-round draft pick, and, I mean, phenomenal player. Players are everywhere. I mean, NIL doesn't do that. That's just always been that way. You got to expand your footprint. You got to have a home base, and you got to nationally go to where the best players are that you don't want, that can change your program and what you have to do. And you have to have something to draw them here, which A&M does. You have to have a staff that has won national championships. Like I say, you can talk about it all you want. There's only 4 active coaches that have won a national championship. You can say it all the way you want. There's only 4 active coaches coaching in college football that have won a national championship. So you want guys that can do it, how they've done it. Coaches have been there and done it. So, I mean, all that's encompassing in what you do. And if you don't build your brand, you don't brand yourself. We're in a global world now. We're in a global world now. We're not in a regional world. And that's great. And you got to have your regional, but you got to have your home base, which we want all these guys right here in Texas we can win national championships with. But then we got to put our footprint across the states, and I think we've done that. I think we'll be in 8 or 9 states before this class is over, I think, when it's all said and done. So, I mean, and then plus going international. And, I mean, players are everywhere.
And then Zach elects to transfer. Just what does he mean to this program after this year? And then also, what's the game plan for the Gator Bowl?
Look, Zach did a tremendous job. I think he played his heart out this year. I think he's one competitive guy, tough guy, won big games, led us to victories in 2-minute offense. I think he's going to have a great career. We loved him, wanted him to be here, but he understood that at times guys change and move. But he competed with injuries. He competed with behind the 8 ball with other guys on our team being hurt. I mean, you got to remember, we lost, 5 or 6 of our top receivers? Or took 6 or 7. We had a center miss before the season. He had a good tackle. And he comes in a tough situation on the road, games he's had. I mean, I have the utmost respect for him. I think he's going to have a great career. He did a heck of a job here for us, and wish him nothing but the best.
Down front, Travis.
Was he hurt? Did he have surgery or something?
No, he hasn't had surgery yet. But, I mean, sometimes guys have to have it. Sometimes they don't, and the shoulder pops out. I mean, they're waiting to see what the doctor does. I think he will have it. I don't know that for sure. I'm not. What'll happen probably will, but listen, he is a competitive, tough son of a gun, boy.
And do you have a plan so far for the Gator Bowl quarterback wise?
Yeah, Blake will be our guy, and then, I mean, Haynes has gotten back in practice. We're just getting him out there just to get reps and just to get parts of practice, and his body can't you can't bring a guy back and do all that, but we'll get through and play. Blake will do a good job.
And then Jared Kerr, what was kind of his not Jared Kerr, Jake Johnson, what was his kind of recruitment there, and how much of a surprise or not was it there at the end when he ended up signing?
No, I mean, not a surprise. I mean, like I said, I've known him a long time, known Brad, and the interaction with us, and I think he brings a lot to the table with his play. He's a tremendous player, and that opportunity came, and you don't too good a player not to do it with.
Right side, David.
Jimbo, what did October 9th, the game against Alabama, mean to this class specifically? Walter Nolan in attendance, a lot of big names were here, and they saw that atmosphere.
Well, I think they've seen what we're capable of being and what we can do and how we can do it, and we can win a national championship. And I'm going to tell you what, the atmosphere and environment in here in the 12th man. I mean, there's nothing. This is the best place to play in college football, bar none. And I think all those things were together. And then you always have those springboard moments. And then we thought it was consistency. We didn't finish like we needed to, but they saw what we're capable of and how it is, and they understand the circumstances behind all the things that went on, and see the vision we have and saw what we did the year before. Not just that, you saw the year before. The Final Four finish, I thought we were the second best team in the country at the time at the end of the year, behind Alabama at that particular time, and they saw us play with Alabama. They see us in that realm, and they want to be somewhere. Listen, you want to be another guy that does it somewhere, you want to be the first to do it somewhere. Makes a big difference.
And follow that up with Walter Nolan, just the big kid out of Tennessee.
Let me tell you something. That's the skinniest 335-pound guy I know. I mean, guy's 335 pounds and thin and built like I mean, it's scary. I tease him about that all the time. But listen, you're talking about guys when they put their hand, him and Dindy and Anthony Lucas, all those guys. But when they put their hand in the dirt, they make a difference. I mean, they seal all those guys, and that was the key. But you have those interior guys. Now, you see the push of those tackles, those interior guys that not only when they don't make plays, they take up 2-3 blockers. They push the pocket, change the line of scrimmage, collapse the pocket on the quarterback, or, push it back and make the balls bounce so other guys can make plays. I mean, those guys just disrupt. Like I say, big guys like that do more on accident. A lot of guys do on purpose. And I say that wholeheartedly with speed, power, the athleticism they have. And he's a tremendous, tremendous talent and tremendous player.
Coach, we'll go back behind the lights. John Wilson, and then Mike.
Coach, what does it mean to be able to have somebody locally, Jared Kerr from Lexington, come to the program and keep the local kids on?
Listen, keep them here as many as we can keep, and there's some outstanding teams going out here right now. I mean, Jared's an outstanding player, can play, he plays the ball, can tackle, physical, tough, athletic, and bright. Watch him play on offense. Very, very natural football player. very natural football player. I think we'll have a great career here. I really do.
Back behind the lights, Mike, and then Brent.
Coach, you talked about wanting to add more explosive athletes on the outside with the receivers, tight ends, and backs you've signed in this class. Do you feel like these guys are capable of upping the explosiveness?
I sure do. I sure do. I mean, the guys we have in there with Noah and Chris Marshall, I mean, the guys are big, athletic, 6'4", 6'5" guys, can get down the field. I think Noah caught 21 touchdowns. Chris had 13 or 15, can run. Chris is scoring about 35 a game in basketball about every night he's playing. I went and watched him play the other night. Man, he can go. Just athletic, the ball skills, the athleticism, the size, and hopefully we'll continue to add to the class.
Go Brent, then Travis, and Cease.
Another evolving world one for you. What's your approach on the opt-outs? Also with the idea that if the younger guys are getting more time in a bowl game, it's a springboard into the next season as well.
Well, I mean, the opt-outs are here to stay. I mean, I'm a believer. If you're a high pick and you know you're going, I get it. I mean, I think here's what I always say this. If you're a third round or below, NFL doesn't have a lot of money invested in you. What I'm saying is you have your signing bonus and if you're not. I think the more you see that, I think the more you play, it's better. But guys have their own opinion on that. That's just me personally. If I was drafting a guy, that's what I would see. But that's just part of it. And it's opportunities for young guys to go play. And listen, those guys that opt out, they've done a tremendous job for us. I have no disrespect for that at all. They make their own choices in what they do, and that's just the way of the world. That's like transfer portals like that. That's just what we're into now, and I think that's another reason the playoffs need to expand to entice guys to stay in school. You get more quality bowl games. Guys can win national championships, and it helps that whole process, in my opinion.
Travis.
I know a lot will be said about how big this class is. Was this year any different for you? Harder, not easier this day? Was it a little bit longer, shorter? What was this experience like?
I haven't ever remembered this day being easy, and I never have a recruiting class that was easy. So I ain't never remember winning was. I ain't remember nothing about football was easy. So that's what you got to understand. There's nothing easy about any of it. It's hard work. It's dedication. It's relationships. Sometimes it's a 2-month relationship. Sometimes it's a 3-year relationship. I mean, it's all encompassing, and it's always hard because they understand something. This is a very competitive world. We're in the most competitive league in ball. Everybody, and you're on the top players. That's a whole different animal now. You can go get good players. You can go get the top ones. That's a different animal, how to recruit them, the time, the commitment, and all the things that go on, and the ups and downs that go through it. And you have to have the resources as far as being able to see themselves, seeing them win a national championship, get a great education, have life after ball, and A&M has all those things.
On the spectrum of enjoyment, does these national signing days, are these really, really exciting, great days for you? Are they hard days? Where does that kind of fall?
They're hard days, but they're very exciting for me because I do see the joy on those kids' faces because, I mean, it's so far they're 17, 18, 19-year-old lives, whatever it's been, it's one of the biggest moments they've had so far. Probably one of the biggest decisions they've ever made in their life. And to see their look on their face, the vision they have for their future, what goes on, I mean, it's a great time and great. And then for those families that put their young men in that position to be successful, it's very rewarding. And I love to see. I always remember, like when guys go in the draft, I remember the first time I met them, whether it was here in my office or in a home or the home visit or whatever, that young kid, which they all think they're grown men, but when they're not, when they're 22 or 21, when they leave here, they are. That's what I always think of, and to me, these days are very special.
Left, Cease, then Cole.
So list of players who won't be playing in the Gator Bowl, Jimbo. O'Neal, Leal, Spiller, Peavy, anyone else?
I believe that's it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody else has let us know yet.
I think that's right.
Just want to know.
I don't want to say off the top of my head. I'm trying to think. I'm just going through it right now. Yeah, I'm thinking about a whole different group of guys. Now you got me thinking about this group of guys. That wasn't a very good question, see. That was a tricky question, see. I can't remember. I think, yeah, I'm being right. That sounds right.
I think that's the only ones they've
'Cause I
announced
told you,
yet.
I've had, Mark, remember. Is that right, Mark? I think it is right now. I'm not sure if there'll be more. There could be more, could not be. I don't know that for sure, but we'll see.
Down front, Cole.
Jimbo, 9 total linemen, 5. I think it's 5 defensively, 4 offensively. Do you just believe with the way that analytics is turning, and the way that the college football is turning, that it's important to have as much depth as possible on the offensive and defensive line?
Ain't nothing about analytics. That's been since I've been in ball 35 years ago. The guys that put their hand in the dirt change the game. You can't have enough of them. The injuries, the banging, the bruising, the ability to develop and go against other guys on the other side and have guys that listen. Competition's what it's about. You want to be deep everywhere. Listen, you want competition. You want to be able to come to practice, and here's what you want your team. When I come to practice, if I ain't ready, somebody's going to take my job. That's when you're good. That's when you play real good. When they're scared not to play hard because somebody's ready to take their job, that's on all the great teams I've had, that's what it's been. You coming with competition within the practice, and the guys that put their hand in the dirt, the guys, the injuries, the bangs, the bruises, all that stuff that goes with that stuff, that's a physical position. You can't have enough of them. And they'll all be – it's funny, at the end – They're all used. They all play.
Anything else? Down front, Brent?
We had a lot of catching up to do today, huh? Coach Schmidt,
I don't know if we should let them.
are we going back to that baseball thing again?
I don't go back to anything. I'm running this Conference conference.
Okay, I won't mention,
No,
Brandon Sanders.
Huh?
Brandon was.
Let me tell you something. Red is awesome. Our players know him. He is very knowledgeable. Been with me a long time. The knowledge he has in the lifting program, the running program, the things he has, and we're going to make some changes and do some things a little differently in which we want to do. And brilliant guy. I think is going to be tremendous. Been in this business a long time, and I've known, he's been right there to be able to hire him from day one. He is a really, really talented young guy.
Anything else? John, back in the back.
Coach, now that recruiting is going on, you still have to balance that with the bowl game. How excited are you and is this program to be able to go back to Jacksonville and play in the Gator Bowl?
There's another Gator Bowl, another Florida Bowl. There's always great bowls to be in. They're big bowls. Great opportunity to go play a great opponent and see some of our young guys play in some key situations. And it's going to be a great challenge. And like I say, they have a heck of a team. We've lost some guys here. We got some guys banged up. But listen, you're in a bowl game, man. You're at that December 31st, January 1 date. You've done some good things, and it's a very important game for us. We need to go play well. I'm very excited.
Stay
Gator
back.
Bowl is a great tradition, great history.
Stay back behind the lights, Mike.
Coach, when you look at this class top to bottom, would you call this a program-changing class?
I don't know, program change. We got some good players, but we'll find out how they play. At the end of the day, they're on paper. We got to go play and do what we got to do. So I'll reserve that comment. I always say it, like young hunting dogs, man. Huh? They're all great and they all got a great pedigree. Now, can they hunt? We got to go find out and see them hunt.
All right. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.